There's a sensor in your turbocharged car right now, already installed, already working, completely free, that decides whether your turbo dies at 80,000 miles or runs past 600,000. Most drivers don't even know it exists. The few who do drive turbos that outlive the rest of the vehicle. We're talking taxis, fleet trucks, diesel pickups with odometers that read like phone numbers. Same engines you're driving, different outcome. This isn't an aftermarket gauge, not a tune, not some miracle additive sitting on a parts counter. It's factory equipment, buried in a menu most people never open. Once you know how to read it, you make a 30-second decision before every shutoff. And that decision adds years to your engine. Here's the part that bothers me. Most shops know exactly what I'm about to tell you. They've known for years. And turbo replacements? $2,000 to $4,000 all day long. You do the math. Let me back up. Your turbocharger is mechanically one of the most insane things on your car. The compressor wheel spins between 100,000 and 280,000 RPM. That's not a typo. The exhaust side runs hot enough to glow, 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit under load. And the only thing keeping that assembly from welding itself together is a thin film of engine oil pumped through the center bearing. Now, you drive hard. Highway, climb a grade, tow something. The turbo is working. Oil inside that bearing housing is cooking close to its limits. You pull into the driveway. You shut the engine off. What happens next is where most turbos die. The second the engine shuts down, oil pressure drops to zero. Pumping stops. But the turbo, still spinning, still hot. Hotter, actually, because the oil that was carrying heat away just stopped flowing. That residual oil sitting in the bearing bakes against metal that's still glowing. It doesn't drain. It coats, carbonizes, turns into a hard black varnish that builds up drive after drive, year after year. Eventually, it scores the bearing. The shaft develops play. You start hearing a whine, then a wobble. Then the compressor wheel kisses the housing and you're out $4,000. This is called heat soak. It's the single biggest killer of turbocharged engines on the road today. Not boost pressure, not over-revving. Heat soak after shutdown. Now here's where the $0 sensor comes in. Almost every modern turbocharged vehicle built in the last 15 years has either an oil temperature sensor, a coolant temperature sensor, or both, feeding data straight to your dashboard or trip computer. You can pull this up right now on most cars. BMWs and Audis hide it in the trip menu. Sometimes you have to enable it through the settings. Ford F-150 EcoBoosts have an oil temp readout in the productivity screens. Subarus, late model Mustangs, Hyundai N-Line, the new turbo Hondas. Every modern diesel pickup, Cummins, Powerstroke, Duramax, they all give you live oil or coolant temperature. Free. Already paid for. Sitting in a menu most owners never tap into. If your car doesn't show it on the dash, the data is still there. A $20 OBD2 reader paired with a free phone app pulls it up in real time. So when I say $0 trick, I mean it. The hardware exists. The data exists. You just need to know what to do with it. Here's the rule. After any drive where you've been working the engine, highway, speeds, towing, mountain pulls, even just an aggressive on-ramp before exiting, you don't shut the car off the second you put it in park. You let it idle. Watch the oil temp readout. When it drops below 220 degrees Fahrenheit on a gas turbo, you're safe. On a diesel with a pyrometer or EGT gauge, you want exhaust temps under 300 degrees before shutdown. For most drives, that's 30 seconds. After serious work, maybe a minute or two. That's it. That's the whole trick. Sounds too simple. I know. But fleet operators have been doing exactly this for decades. The Cummins crowd has a saying, never let a hot turbo go quiet. Long-haul truckers run automatic turbo timers that idle the engine after key-off for the same reason. Ford fleet maintenance data on EcoBoost F-150s shows trucks driven by trained operators, landscapers, contractors, fleet managers, regularly hitting 200,000 and 300,000 miles on the original turbo. Same trucks driven by people who shut the engine off the second they park are back at the shop at 80. Pickup forums are full of these stories. A guy in Alberta with a 6.7 Cummins passed 700,000 miles original turbo. European taxi fleets running diesel turbos past 400,000. Lexus ISF turbo trucks in Australia, similar numbers. Now I want to be straight with you because too many videos sell magic. 600,000 miles isn't typical, it's the high end. It happens. But those engines didn't get there on cool-down alone. They got there with cool-down plus religious oil changes plus quality full synthetic oil at the right viscosity plus avoiding the kind of short trips that never let the engine get up to temperature in the first place. The cool-down habit is the multiplier. Without it, the rest doesn't matter much. With it, the rest compounds. A few things worth knowing. If your car has automatic stop-start, the kind that kills the engine at red lights, that system actually does part of this work for you. So does the electric coolant pump on a lot of newer European turbos, which keeps circulating water through the turbo housing for a few minutes after key-off. If you have one of those cars, you've got a built-in safety net. But here's the catch. That pump only runs if the system thinks the turbo is hot enough to need it. After a normal commute? Sure. After a serious pull-up a grade with the kids and luggage? Sometimes it doesn't run long enough. The oil temp readout always tells you the truth. Second thing, don't over-rev in the last half mile of your drive and then shut down. That's the worst possible combination. The last mile or two should be relaxed, low-boost driving. The drive itself is part of the cool-down. Third, if you genuinely can't idle parking garage, no idling laws, drive gently for the final 2 minutes instead of getting on it right before you park. Same logic. You're letting the system pull heat out while it's still moving. So why don't more people know this? Look, I'm not going full conspiracy on you. The information is technically out there, buried in the maintenance section of owner's manuals nobody reads. But notice what happens at the dealership. New turbo cars get sold with the pitch that they're the same as a regular car, just more powerful and more efficient. The salesperson doesn't walk you through cool-down procedures. They probably don't know them. And the shop down the road that replaces blown turbos? They aren't sending you postcards reminding you to idle for 30 seconds. The economics tell the whole story. Turbo replacement is one of the higher margin jobs in a shop. Part is expensive, labor is significant, and the failure repeats. Turbos that died from habits keep dying from habits. There's no real business incentive on the shop side to teach you a free habit that prevents a $4,000 bill every 100,000 miles. The good mechanics tell you, the honest ones do, but it's not industry standard advice. And it should be. One more thing before I wrap up. If you're driving a turbocharged car right now and you've never done this, don't panic. Damage from heat soak is cumulative, but it's mostly preventable going forward. Start the habit today. Check your oil temp display tomorrow morning. Find where the number sits on a normal drive. Use that as your baseline. Grab a cheap OBD2 reader if your dash doesn't show it. $20, one time. The payoff is an engine that outlasts every payment, every warranty, and every assumption. If you want more of this, the actual habits that separate the engines that die at 100,000 miles from the ones that hit 500,000. There's more coming. Hidden gauges, oil change intervals the manuals get wrong, the cheap fluids that quietly destroy engines, and the expensive ones that aren't worth it. Subscribe so you catch the next one. And in the comments, what's the highest mileage turbo you've personally seen on the road or owned yourself? Year, make, model, miles. I read everyone. The numbers might surprise you. That's the trick. That's the sensor. Use it.